Hi, and welcome everyone at this month's community developer meeting. I am Tobias Schwarz, your host for today. I'm the solutions engineer at Ignite. And today we want to cover a couple of news that happened in the last month with Ignite and what we have been working on, but also how we can help you. As a reminder, this call is open, so feel free to interrupt me. This is a community call. Me and the team of Ignite are here to help you be productive and build chains and build use cases and products. So this call is intended to give an open platform for us to share some news with you, but also for you to interact with us, ask questions directly, kind of also like an AMA for the team. So feel free to pose any question or just tune in your microphone and get started to interact with us. Today we are going to talk a little bit about Ignite apps, and we've already discussed this in the latest meeting last month, the Ignite app WASM, which allows you to create a Cosmos WASM chain with Rust smart contracts, which is the most popular choice in the whole Cosmos ecosystem, but it opens up a plethora of use cases and possibilities to work with smart contracts and the Rust environment and have secure smart contracts on your chain. We are going to talk a little bit about interchain security, about community contributions, how you can contribute to Ignite or create your own app to extend the use case of Ignite. We're going to talk about our new tutorials platform, and I'd like to talk a little bit about benefits that came with the latest Cosmos SDK version 0.50. And we have Julian in this call, who is an expert on exactly that topic. So maybe we can get a little discussion going on what benefits version 0.50 brings, but also maybe some challenges happening with Ignite. So I'd really love to dig into this topic. So first, I'm going to share my screen. I want to invite you to the tutorials. I'm taking this first because it will cover some of the other aspects as well. So feel free to navigate to our new platform, which sits at tutorials.ignite.com. We have launched this week, so we are actually very happy to have it out there and to help and guide you how to best make the most use of Ignite, how to best use it. We've covered some best practices because we think it's important to write unit tests to get your module or your logic as secure as possible and as well tested as possible. We're speaking about more unit tests in blockchain development, also how to maintain a Cosmos SDK blockchain, because once you're thinking about release, there's not only one thing, not only kind of giving it out there, but there's some maintenance going on. You need to check regular security updates. You probably want to be in touch with validators that are maintaining your chain as well. You want to build up a community around your software, and we're covering a lot of topics in this best practices. And we are talking about debugging your blockchain. So in case you're stuck somewhere, you want to know what a variable actually has it as content, or you want to debug your application, find out where some problems sit and fix them. So apart from that, we are also digging a lot into module creation. So first use case of Ignite is helping you to create your own modules and your own logic on a blockchain. So we've had a little bit of brainstorming what could be helpful for you to understand how Ignite works, but also make a couple of possible use cases and give them out there. So we are talking about how to create a supply chain tracking system that you probably, if you've started Ignite, you all know the block tutorial, which you can find as well here, because they probably phase out of the documentation where they sit right now and all land on the tutorials page, and the documentation will focus more on just technical stuff. And all the guides and walkthroughs you will find on our tutorials page. You probably know about the Token Factory module. It's been extremely popular in the whole Cosmos ecosystem. It's been adopted by chains like Osmosis or Noble, Kava, many other chains, and they are all very happy with the use case that you can add new native tokens to your chain with this module. is being used in IBC and ICS a lot as well, because native tokens can be used a little bit easier, I think, than smart contract tokens in IBC. So this module makes a lot of sense for a lot of projects. And then we have another module for you, which is the decentralized identity verification module. This is certainly just a proof of concept how you could inscribe kind of private data on the blockchain. But then I've used a SHA-256 hash to just kind of have the hash on the blockchain, and others can, if they have your real data, confirm that it's actually the right hash. Zero knowledge proof would obviously be a great choice for this as well. So feel free to use this as kind of base learning material, but then expand on top of that with your ideas and your use cases. We've also made an example on how to create the CW20 on an Ignite chain, and this comes along with the Cosmos Ignite app WASM. Let me quickly show you the repository for this. This sits on github.com/ignite/apps. In here, you find the WASM app, which is written by Danilo Pantini, and he's made a great job of all the wiring, so that you can, with 2 commands, install first the WASM app, and then if you have your chain, you just use Ignite WASM add, and it will wire the whole WASM functionality into your blockchain. Be aware, this only works with version 28.3 and above. Actually, we have written 28.2.1. This never existed. We directly jumped to 28.3, so there shouldn't be any more confusion, but it needs to be that version and higher. If you've scaffolded your chain with a lower version, it probably won't work, because how apps are wired depends on the Cosmos SDK version, on the WASM version. So it needs to be all in order to work properly. So only with version 28.3 and above. And then with Ignite WASM add, you have it wired into your blockchain, and then you can start looking into smart contracts and uploading them. And this will be covered in the tutorial on CW20. Here, first, a small introduction again, how to add it to your chains, but then you'll get directly into token development. Please check out, Confio has done an amazing job on all the already available smart contracts. So if you go to github.com/cosmwasm/CW-plus, you will find a list of written smart contracts that you can immediately use. They are battle tested, they are audited, and should work as expected. You can actually use them on production nets, main production networks. And yeah, in here you have probably some people of you are familiar with the ERC standard. So Cosmos WASM has the same with CW standard. That means first a definition of what is being built of the smart contracts, and the use case is defined. Then the code is implemented, and then it's audited. So Confio has done this for a couple of, inspired by ERC. So they actually have the same number. ERC20 was the definition for tokens on Ethereum, and CW20 does the same for Cosmos WASM. So CW20, CW721, and a lot of definitions in Cosmos WASM follows the idea of the ERC standard. They probably use the same description even, and then implement the code in Rust instead of Solidity, and then have it audited. And feel free to browse around this. There's a lot of to find here, a lot to learn about Rust and smart contracts. So very, very good source if you want to learn how all this works. And we are actually in this tutorial using the CW20 contract. If you follow this slowly and in your time, then you'll need Docker and compile the contract, and then you can actually upload it to your own local blockchain where you have full control over, and then you can start interacting with it, right? A smart contract usually is a list of functions that you can use to do certain actions. Each of those actions is a transaction on the blockchain. And so first you upload the contract, the set of functions and definition, then you instantiate it, and then you can start to execute certain functions within that smart contract. And in this example, you'll create a token as a smart contract and then start interacting with it and transferring it or checking balances and whatever comes to your mind what to do with tokens. So feel free to go slowly through this and understand how all of this works. Any questions so far on this part? I hope I'm not going through it too quickly. Danilo, do you want to say anything about your brainchild in the Wasm app? Great to have you on the call.
Sorry, I mean about the implementation.
Yeah, any more comments on what I missed to explain?
No. It's pretty straightforward. To add the WASM into the app. We made some, it's not workarounds, but for work, WASM's not supports the API wiring, and the new Cosmos SDK there is some API wiring, and the IBC models don't have API wiring as well. So we made some tricks for we can have everything works with the latest version. So I think if you think to run a new chain and you want to use the latest stack, I think here is the best place for you can get some examples, scaffold the chain with the latest stack and the latest WASM.
I remember it was 1 year ago when Danilo and me met in Berlin at Cosmos Wasm conference, and we already talked about exactly this. And I'm so happy to see this now live with Ignite, so that people can build Cosmos or add Cosmos into their chain and have those smart contracts enabled. One thing that we might be looking at later, there's actually different kind of Cosmos Wasm chains in the current Cosmos ecosystem. So, for example, one of the first chains to adopt Cosmos Wasm was back in the day, I think 3 years ago, the Juno network. They had a permissionless environment, so that means everyone can write smart contract and upload them as they wish. This is certainly one of the more error-prone way to integrate Cosmos Wasm, because another different implementation is, for example, Osmosis uses that. Each contract has to go through governance. That means there is a proposal which describes the smart contract, and then the chain will vote if it's accepted on the chain. And in case the community votes for it to be accepted, then only this smart contract can be used and interacted with. And the third alternative that also some chains, I'm not sure exactly which do this, but I know it exists, that there's only a certain set of smart contracts that you'll ever be able to interact with, and no way for anyone to upload their own concept or product and smart contract on the chain. And we'll probably look closer into this as well. Right now, the implementation that we have proposed that comes with the Ignite Wasm app is you create your own L1 chain with everything open, permissionless Cosmos Wasm. We have made a new development because we want the community, you as devs, to be able to expand your Ignite CLI tool and share with others as well. what you have built. So the Ignite app wasn't is just one example of apps that can be built, and we have built a couple of other examples, but we'd love to have you also add new examples. And in order to then make it easier to let others know about your app, we have created, maybe you're familiar with the chain registry. That was the solution for blockchains. We have taken a similar approach. We call it the app registry. So in case you have developed an app that can be helpful to others, or maybe you've specialized even to help others and give more use cases to Ignite, then you can add your app and your description, the name, description, which Ignite version it runs on, etc. A couple of descriptions of the features, how to find you in case something goes wrong. So feel free to make a pull request to this repository with your app in case you've developed one, so other people can easily find all the different apps in the universe that they can use to expand their Ignite set and functionality. And so just head over to our Ignite apps GitHub repository, get into the Ignite app registry, fork it, and then make a PR with your app. And we review and merge it, and then other people can also find your app easily. Okay, going back to our talking points. Is Julian here? I'd love to invite a little bit to talk about Cosmos SDK version 0.50. There have been certainly a lot of new features being enabled with the 0.50. I'm not totally in the loop, but I see a lot of people talking about the highlights and how everything will get easier using this version. Hi, Julian.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Tobias.
Great to have you in the call.
Yeah, happy to be here. Something you want me to just go through, I guess, the main feature of why to upgrade to 0.50 and why use Ignite 28, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to share your screen, or just should I open something?
I can share my screen. Sure. Let me. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
I guess the easiest will be, is there anyone here that is maybe not migrated yet to 0.50? I will assume that I will just go through the release notes and assume and just highlight the new features. So basically, if you're upgrading for 0.47 from 0.47 or earlier, using Comet BFT 0.37 or 0.34, and the Comet BFT team added what they call ABCI 2.0, and what it does basically, it adds new API to the ABCI semantics. So namely, before your module and the application itself had backend block, hand block, deliver block, etc. And then they updated this API to do a finalized block, which will mean that you run your module backend block, and then you run your module end block in the application, and then the application will call directly finalized block. So that's a little neat. That doesn't change too much as an application developer, as the Cosmos SDK kept the same semantic as of building block and hand block. But one interesting new thing is VOT extensions. So thanks to VOT extensions, you are able to have the proposer put data in the block, and so you are able, for instance, to have directly Oracle prices included in the block or things like that. So you have more let's say customizability and things you want to do, you can add to your block, and you can have the most interesting use case, most simple use case is an Oracle to update the price. To not have, for instance, have to spam TXs to update the price of an Oracle, which could be problematic in case of spam of DOS or whatever, where you have a problem where you transaction to update your Oracle place doesn't get into the block, and then that leaves a discrepancy with the actual price and the price on chain. There is some exploits that use this little problem. Well, with Vault extension, basically, if you have your Oracle updates price in the Vault extensions, you are always assured that that it will be in the block, as it doesn't happen at the same moment as the transaction. So I'll let you dive into this if you're interested. It's like quite a advanced use case, but still very interesting. The Cosmos SDK have some documentation, and we'll probably have maybe some example soon in Ignite as well, to be able to scaffold us, such what I talk about. That's a nice feature that we could integrate for sure. Next to this, there is optimistic execution. This is a little thing you can activate in base app, which will mean that this is which will mean that if you add this into your base app option in your app.go, you will be able to use optimistic execution, which means that before you get the validate, before you know that the block has been accepted, you start to execute it, and that's improved performances. This is not super interesting. The thing you probably notice in Ignite 28 is when you before Ignite 0.27, when you were scaffolding a module, you would have a client folder. You might have noticed in 28 that client folder has disappeared. That's because it makes use of auto CLI. What auto CLI is basically a little it's a new feature in the SDK that allows you to define your module CLI with a simple configuration. It will auto detect the gRPC endpoints you have, and it will create comments for it. And it will basically, your whole client folder has been replaced by things like this. And things like this just basically redoes the same. It will create the param comment. This is, and it will basically call the gRPC endpoint params and make basically a query, or well, this one is skipped, but you can as well have also comments every time you create, for instance, a list or a singleton. In Ignite, there will be an auto CLI field that will be added here, and that will basically create automatically a comment. And if you want to modify the flags, if you want to modify the flags or things like that, this is all explained in the Cosmos SDK documentation. For instance, you're able here to set your flags. Ignite does it as well for you, but you're able to change it if you want them optional, etc. Coming back to the features.
One small comment from my side about auto CLI. Thanks a lot, Julian, for covering this. Is that the old tutorials, you will always find the client directory when you go through a tutorial, which is no longer existent because auto CLI will take all this kind of lifting for you and makes it easier for you to describe your commands. And therefore, these errors have all been fixed. In case you've had any problems with this, I've seen this a couple of times in Discord. In the new tutorials, all of this is fixed and properly done already. The client directory is indeed gone with auto CLI, but it now sits in the module directory. So yeah, but a very, very helpful feature. Thanks, Julie.
Yeah, thank you. You don't have to use it. For instance, you might have noticed if you scaffold an IBC module, we will still scaffold a client folder. This is because sometimes auto CLI doesn't have the best UX, and we won't always have the best UX. Such as if you want extra logic and you do not extra validation, that you do not do that in your message server, or you want to parse the JSON and do something, is it just something that differs from directly interacting with your gRPC endpoints, then defining custom CLI is still possible and done the exact same way as it was before. Just a little setting to have on, which I believe it is on Ignite as well. Yeah, sign mode textual. This is a new sign mode. Usually we use sign mode direct, which is a proto signing. Sign mode textual is a replacement for just 9. It's able to sign on Ledger, which was sign mode direct not able to. So now you can use sign mode textual everywhere, basically. The advantage is more readable on a Ledger and more, and we to integrate that so it's not super supported on the web still. The scaffolded Vue and React app will be still using, I believe, JSON or sign mode direct if you don't sound a Ledger. But when they update and support sign mode textual, we'll as well update our template to the libraries to as well use sign mode textual, as it's a bit better. And if you upgrade for,
so that means Amino is entirely gone?
it is there for legacy support,
Okay.
for backward compatibility and everything, but it's on the way to be gone. Yes.
And I think the second sentence might be a bit misleading. This means before what was leaked is that you are signing on the ledger, right? And not any information other than this is signed on a ledger.
Exactly.
Yeah, and nothing else kind of get leaked. It sounded a bit scary.
Yeah, if you go to Minscan or anything, you will and look at the transaction, you can indeed see what sign mode was used.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay,
and let's boilerplate for modules. This is as well implemented all in Ignite already. So there is less code that is scaffolded because there is less code needed in the latest version of the SDK. Threaded Basic is still there for 0.28, but will be gone in in v28. Will be gone in version 29. This is not super relevant. This is basically you can already do that on your own chain if you want, which is basically moving the logic from validate basic into your message server. It just leaves them only one place to have a look at all the validation that is done. But if you want, you can still use validate basic and get signers. Is infer from the proto annotation that you have in your protos, and Ignite does it for you. So this is again, like we are looking in the SDK document release notes. Ignite abstracts most of it for you. This is still nice to know, but you can Ignite already make use of all these new features. So you don't have to think about it. Just this one, something nice to test. If you want to just add this in your chain, if you want, this is new. This is marked as experimental, but it works. It's just because the SDK team couldn't test it on a wide mainnet, so that's why it's called experimental. But basically, where you will add it is when you have base app in here in your base app options. You can add the little base asset optimistic extension, and it will basically enable it. Here is explained as well for Vogt extension, etc. This is the default application that is scaffolded by Ignite, so you should be able to recognize that. So I think we did the real tour. Let me think if there is anything worth to mention. I can't think of anything right now. Maybe if someone has a question about any feature they doesn't understand, happy to help.
I'd be curious if anyone is still in the step trying to upgrade to version 0.50.
Are you only seeing one tab? I just realized.
No. We've seen you going around, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so the app.go and everything. Good.
No, I don't think we've seen the app.go.
Okay. Well, my bad for that. Let me just. I was showing stuff on okay. All right. I was saying basically you can this little thing, you have to add it in your base app option here.
Okay.
But that's it. This is everything. It's in Ignite scaffold this, and basically you need to append this to your base app options.
Got it. All right. Any questions? Michelle, someone Code01 asked me to share the slides. I'm not sure. There's not too much on these slides to cover. We'll surely upload this whole video later on, so you will have access to the information on YouTube. This usually takes us 2 or 3 days, and then it's uploaded. So you can kind of rewind this, slow it down, speed it up, whatever helps in your use case. But we haven't shared the slides. I don't see. If you can give me a reason why, I'd consider it. But else, I wouldn't share it. Yeah, these were the updates for the last month. So I'd be happy if some of the people in this call have topics that we should cover, that we talk about, that we should discuss. So feel free to jump in. You can ask questions in the sidebar on the chat, or just unmute yourself, start talking. Michelle, maybe you can remind me if I forgot something.
Nope, I think we covered all of it. I was actually interested, I don't know if Charles can still speak, but I was interested in hearing more about how you guys are using Ignite and any feedback you have for us. I'm not sure if you can talk now, but no problem. If not, just speaking of feedback, keep an eye out on the Discord channel, as you probably do, but we will be working next week on getting a survey released to get your feedback on Ignite. And we want to take that and work with the engineering team to review the feedback, and yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, yeah, just to give a little background on what I use Ignite for. It's mainly to build out projects that I have previously designed in TLA+. It's a formal specification language or whatnot. And just it's a very useful tool so that I don't have to do all the scaffolding. And I'm very grateful for y'all putting this together.
Yeah, and we had a lengthy chat the other day together with Julian as well. If you're using the latest version of Ignite, we are currently in a situation where the Cosmos SDK version 0.50 is quite new. So new, in fact, that not all the dependencies have upgraded. That means if you're building with ICS, you need a provider chain and a consumer chain. And Charles has kind of pointed out very rightly so that the provider chain software is not yet on version 0.50 of the Cosmos SDK. That means if you're building with ICS, you need your provider chain on Cosmos SDK version 0.47. And consumer chains, though, already have upgraded. Our team played a big role in make that happen. And help the Cosmos SDK team out to ship it quicker. That consumer chains can already be on version 0.50, and you can combine that. So it's possible that the provider chain is still on Cosmos SDK version 0.47, the consumer chain, though, already on 0.50. That's a working use case, and sadly, we have to wait until the software for the provider chains is also upgraded to version 0.50. Shouldn't take too long, hopefully within the next 2 or 3 weeks. This upgrade is also then existent, and then everything can run properly on version 0.50.
Also, to put it out there, just for other folks on the call, like feel free if you're working on a project to just share it with us now. We're also we have our agenda and we work through it and open to questions. But if you have something you're working on and want to talk to us about it, that would be great. And Ali, I don't know if you wanted to ask the question, but I know you guys were discussing on Discord. I hope you got all the info you needed, but if not, feel free to jump in.
Yeah, I had a question about the dependencies. I know we can use Ignite scaffold module and dash that deep for adding our dependency, but when I want to add one of my module into another one, I face some problems. I don't know if I can ask that in Discord or we can talk about it here.
We actually have a lot of capable devs also in this call, so feel free to ask it now.
For example, imagine that we scaffold a module A, and then we scaffold another module with name of B, and we want to have the module B inside module A and use the keeper of that, the function of keeper of module B inside the module A. I couldn't do that because after you create the module A, you cannot use the dash that deep for that, and after that you might add the module B manually, or even delete the module A and again create that.
So what's your question? How to best import it?
Yes.
I think we've discussed this slightly on Discord. So since I've already given my answer, I think it's best when either Danilo or Julian maybe want to answer this and provide a slightly different answer than myself.
If you create a new model, this model will automatically inject it into the dependency injection from the Cosmos SDK. So if you create your model A and you create your model B later, and you want to use the keeper from the model A, you can go to the model package inside the model. There's a folder called model, and you will see the provider inputs for the model. These inputs will be automatically instantiated by the dependency injection. So this the only thing you need is to put what you need in your new model, and the dependency injection will solve it for you. So if your model, the keeper of the model you want to use is not using dependency injection, you should find a way to inject this keeper and use in your new model. So if you need to use the keeper from model A in model B and model B from model A, I don't know if it's possible if you cross the both. I think we need to inject later the keeper, but I think that's not the case. So I think this is more easy. So you only need to go to the provide inputs for the model and put the model you want, and this you inject it automatically. You have the expected keepers, so don't forget to fill the interface of your keeper you want to use, because if you don't fill properly the interface, the dependency injector will not understand which model you want to get. I don't know if it's clear.
Yeah, I got some part of that. I think you mean the expected keeper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got
Yes,
it.
yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
I'm checking if I have any example here, but I will try to find the place when you need to put your injection, and I'll share here in the chat.
Okay, great.
Maybe we do this on Discord because this chat's history will be gone when this call ends. So I would appreciate if this information, Danilo, if you can share it on Discord. We already had a conversation about this. I think it's in the build chains Discord channel. And yeah, let's have a conversation on there so people can go back to especially so valuable inputs like Danilo you're talking about.
Great.
Good.
I
Thank
went
you.
to the Discord.
Looking forward to more from this discussion. Thank you, Ali.
You're welcome.
Are there more questions around or feedback or discussion points around Ignite Cosmos SDK, the ecosystem? Otherwise, I would say I see all of you on Discord, and as well. So if someone of you wants to have to share a bit more information than just text, we also have a call channel on Discord. Feel free to mention it that you want to speak to someone, and then we can issue kind of a date on when we can meet, and then this won't be recorded. Ignite calls in the Discord channel is exactly for giving support, discussing a certain topic. If you need any help, so feel free to make use of that. We are on Discord, and that there's also a way to call or to speak over Discord. Otherwise, thanks a lot, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.
It was great to have everyone here and meet you else on Discord or next month in the next developer community call. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.